I am morphing or transmuting grief into.
Season 19 of Sister Wives has taken a heartbreaking turn, especially for Janelle and her family. As the show unfolds, emotions run deep following the tragic passing of Garrison Brown. The upcoming episodes are set to explore how the entire family is coping with this painful loss, and it's not something you'll want to miss. Despite her strength and resolve to remain upbeat, Janelle finds herself crying in one of the most tearful moments so far. What pushed her to this point? Keep reading as we take you through the moving moments that will have you with goosebumps prior to his untimely death. Garrison Brown touched hearts profoundly as a fan favorite, particularly because of his passion for animals. Being a proud fur dad, he frequently posted sweet moments with his cats, warming the hearts of thousands. One of his last Instagram posts was a touching photo of him snuggling Buttons, his newly adopted 9-year-old cat. Garrison confessed that he just couldn't help but save her. It was who he was, but Buttons wasn't by himself. Garrison also looked after 2 other cats, Patches and Cat 2, and his dedication to animal rescue made him a silent hero to many fans. His mother, Janelle, has just recently explained how fairy-acting his influence was, and it's something that will linger with you in an emotional preview of the next episode. Janelle goes to the Flagstaff Humane Society, a location that held a special place in Garrison's life, when she walked into the office and glimpsed pictures of her son posted on the wall. She couldn't suppress her tears. The shelter had even memorialized Garrison with a memorial plaque. This wasn't an admiration. It was an evocative reminder of the legacy he left behind. Janelle continued with a heartwarming anecdote. When Garrison was in nursing school, his fellow students came to him after his passing and asked where they could make donations in his name. Janelle didn't hesitate to suggest the Flagstaff Humane Society more than $25. Zero has been raised in his name since, funds that are saving the lives of dozens of animals. Think of how proud Garrison must be. Affection doesn't stop there. Fans were also wondering what did become of Garrison's favorite cats after he died. Janelle has kept everyone posted, and the news will melt your heart. Patches and Katu are being taken care of by Michelle Brown, and Logan and Buttons went to live with Aspen and Mitch Thompson. The family's choice to retain the cats in their fold instead of relinquishing them for adoption moved many viewers to tears. In heartbreak, Janelle and her family have discovered strength, solidarity, and purpose. Garrison's memory lives on, not only in their hearts, but in the lives of all animals, whose lives his legacy continues to rescue. As an ardent cat enthusiast myself, I must say, there's no better tribute a family could give Garrison than to keep loving and taking care of his beloved animals. The thought that his furry friends are safe and in good hands should give some solace to those who loved him. It's a very dignified act, and I firmly believe Garrison would be smiling. His spirit, in a way, continues to live on through the animals he cherished. As one observer eloquently phrased it, if that's true, then you all have pieces of Garrison's soul with you. While most fans were moved by these tender moments, feelings ran even higher after a recent episode of Sister Wives that ignited both remembrance and outrage. Tribute photo of Garrison was shown during the show. Then viewers weren't just grieving, they were outraged. Why? Let's take a closer look. Sadly, Garrison Brown, dear son of Janelle and Cody Brown, died in March 2024. He was just 25. His untimely death, which was later discovered to be suicide, came as a shock to both his family and the devoted fans of Sister Wives. Garrison had enlisted in the Nevada National Guard in 2015. And though his path was one of bravery, it was also one of silent struggles. In a deeply moving segment aired around the anniversary of his passing, Janelle opened up about her son's final days. She described how they stayed in constant contact, often speaking 3 times a day. It wasn't unusual. She shared, I text him and we talk frequently, but behind those conversations was a growing concern. I knew he was struggling. She admitted with heartbreak in her voice, I always made it a point to check in. And then the unimaginable occurred. On the day he was discovered, it was Gabriel, Garrison's brother, who delivered the heartbreaking news. Mom, he's gone. He told her, dazed and in shock. Janelle asked, what do you mean? Gabriel answered with painful clarity, "He's dead. He took his own life." Janelle reported she couldn't recall what happened during the next few minutes, only that she jumped into the car and drove stunned. "We knew that he was struggling," she had said again, "and we're doing everything we could, but he just couldn't keep going." It was a moment that had left millions mourning along with her, but what transpired next further heightened feelings. As the audience was grieving, many became angry with how the memory of Garrison was being handled on the show. In one shot, his picture was shown for only a moment, while other unrelated plot lines dominated the episode, prompting outrage from viewers who felt his image was being hijacked and disrespected. The internet was flooded with comments, "I did not think the season could get any worse." One viewer commented, "But TLC managed to do it." Others blasted the emphasis on other participants, claiming it was disrespectful. One of them even claimed the network used Garrison's storyline as background drama while giving more airtime to individuals who, in their opinion, had nothing to do with him. They were particularly disturbed about segments covering minor storylines such as constructing signs or purchasing RVs, getting top billing, while Garrison's presence and legacy were hardly mentioned. "We never heard genuine memories about him from the rest of the family," said one fan. "Not even one poignant story or moment." It's a reminder of the vulnerability of grief and the importance of respecting a person's legacy with sensitivity, not only on screen but in the viewers' hearts as well. This debate occurred after viewers kept debating the way Garrison's memory has been handled throughout different storylines. Many had a specific problem with the way a picture of Garrison was presented, feeling it was given much less respect as a gesture to his memory when viewers were shown the picture stored in wall Cody's garage. Many fans felt disappointed. Disappointed and upset. To them, it seemed disrespectful and below the dignity Garrison should be given. One of the original posters expressed this sentiment, citing Cody as saying he wanted to put him in the grave for a second time. The fans considered this thought utterly shameful, and disrespectful comments poured in asking why Cody would make him disappear or deal with his memory as something to be kept under wraps. Many shared similar sentiments, pointing out how his treatment erases Garrison's lasting legacy. There were even accusations that Cody attempted to get the burial of Garrison videotaped by TLC, which created more controversy. Some fans believed Robyn prohibited the photo from being hung within the residence as it conflicted with the huge painting of a deer gazing out over a burning forest. This reportedly caused the photo to be taken down from the memorial space completely. Others believed Cody may have withheld the ashes or the flag, and this fueled suspicion. Fans were thrilled when word came out that the Baldoc's effort to tape the memorial was foiled by the children who allegedly prevented TLC from taping the military funeral. One of the people furious at Cody's declaration about keeping Garrison's picture in the garage at all times is upset and says that Garrison should be the center of attention. In the house, not in the garage, among all this public criticism, there is one moment of tender beauty, a moment of quiet dignity and love. Janelle Garrison's mother was spotted standing amidst photographs and memories, her pride swelling even as tears came to her eyes. She is a familiar sight to many as the epitome of calm, strength, and earthy nature through countless family struggles. But on this day, it wasn't fame or TV crews, it was merely a mother showing respect to the unending devotion she holds for her son who left way too soon. The setting was in a little animal shelter located on the rocky hills along the town's boundary, a sanctuary that had become a refuge for stray animals and humans. Like providing hope and shelter, Garrison had spent many of his hours and sympathies here guarding creatures who were unable to speak for themselves. As a return, he found solace in nurturing others. In his memory, the shelter had decided to memorialize his legacy. Janelle moved slowly into the building, sunlight filtering through windows and heating the weathered wooden floors. The walls were adorned with photographs, pics of her son holding kittens in his arms, coming terrified strays, and beaming with the innocent joy only animals can provide. The staff at the shelter welcomed her, not with showy gestures, but with soft, mutual sorrow and respect. They did not need to say anything. The air was thick with unspoken fondness. Janelle was escorted to a small alcove off the main hallway where a brass nameplate shone over a backdrop of muted earth tones. It was a humble but meaningful tribute to a young man whose gentleness extended far beyond his own family and whose memory continues to endure in the lives he helped to save. Some of Garrison's personal favorite photographs were tenderly placed beneath the brass nameplate. One of them posed him with his arms around a gray tabby with ears tilted to one side. Another found him grinning as a calico cat batted playfully up and down his shoulders, and a third photograph had him sitting peacefully, a big orange tomcat lounging contentedly in his lap. The plaque had his name carefully etched on it with a short message paying tribute to the one who gave voice and shelter to the voiceless. Janelle's throat constricted with each inhale as she absorbed the spectacle. It was gorgeous but poignant. Memories poured in like tides, and she extended a shaking fingertip to touch the edge of the frame. Garrison had treated every animal as though it were a beloved member of the family. He was uncompromising in his dedication to caring for the animals. Nobody else would, gleefully announcing every new addition as he couldn't wait to tell everyone there was. Buttons, an old cat in the sunset of her years left behind during a relocation. Garrison had welcomed her in without hesitation, attributing it to fate. "I couldn't leave her there," he had explained. "She needs to feel safe before her time arrives." Buttons purred happily as if she had been meant to be in his arms all along. Maybe she had. Garrison's affection for animals was more than a pastime. It was a serious mission, an unstated promise to offer unadulterated healing and sincere love. He shared them his time, his house, and his heart, without seeking acclaim. That was simply what he did. Employees at the shelter told stories of what had transpired since Janelle had come upon Garrison's death news, traveled around the town and farther afield. Strangers previously unfamiliar with the family tale and old-time enthusiasts of it emerged with genuine sympathy letters, gifts, and personal anecdotes of animals rescued in his memory. A volunteer indicated a room filled with supplies, food, clothing, and medication, all facilitated by a foundation that was founded to carry on his work. Even the most seasoned staff members were astonished by the generosity. "We've been able to save so many more lives, all because of him," one said, softly brushing a tear from her cheek. Janelle felt a mixture of gratitude and sorrow. Her son's spirit was still very much alive. It had simply transformed, flowing into others, uplifting and touching their lives. Even now, he remained a guardian of the forgotten. In spite of her emotional overwhelm, Janelle smiled when requested to recall a memory. He would bring everything home with him when he was little. She remembered affectionately. "I remember that one time he picked up a frog on the sidewalk as well as baby birds and herd squirrels. He couldn't bear to see anything in pain." That never wavered. Her affection for her children had been her beacon of light. her compass through the turmoil of family disruptions, breakups, and fresh starts. This loving Constance sustained her through everything. He was always the most sensitive of them all as she looked toward a warm corner of the shelter. She saw some animals lounging in the gentle early morning light. One cat, a gray puffball with keen, intelligent eyes, came up to her slowly and nuzzled softly against her ankle. The staff smiled knowingly. This cat had grown up with a special relationship with her son. From many visits, the instant was nearly reverent. She bent to stroke the cat as if in a quiet dialogue between two realms. The shelter director gave her a small notebook packed with notes from donors. Some were plain and heartfelt. "Thank you for loving animals." Others were highly personal. "I adopted a senior cat because of him." Each was a strand sewn into the life he had unintentionally built. Even though he was not physically there, his spirit continued to be intertwined in every warm blanket, each life that was saved, and each peaceful haven his memory had created. Standing before the plaque, again surrounded by the golden radiance of the changing sunlight, she spoke softly, "You did good, so good." Later, emerging outside into the clean, fresh air, she accepted the agony, but also the mission. She could continue his love not only by epic gestures, but by common acts of mercy, tending, comforting, and selecting compassion. His legacy continued. At home, he hadn't left behind his favorite friends, loving buttons, precious patches, and loving Katu. Family members who knew their worth, who felt his presence with every purr and paw step, had brought them in. They were animals no more, but living reminders of a man who demonstrated unconditional and deep love. With a soft smile, one niece explained how buttons now trail behind her throughout the house and snuggled up tight on bad days. "She knows," the niece whispered softly. "She senses his love from us." While the trip was not always pleasant or painless, the family had come together with one purpose: to remember him. The holidays had changed. Quieter, more contemplative, elaborate celebrations no longer seemed necessary to feel him around. It was in the garden, where flowers grew from seeds he had planted, in the pictures framed around the fireplace, and in the cozy corner where the cat snapped. He had opted for a calm presence in a world too quick and distracted. He had taken a break when no one was looking because he cared. There has always been drama, romance, and heartache in the reality television shows that chronicle the lives of huge extended families. But none of the scores of stories that have been told to date have been as heartbreaking and tragic as the recent death of one of the family's elder sons. His sudden death left an indelible and profound marker, particularly on his mother, who now has to contend with unimaginable bereavement under the piercing eyes of the world. This young man, the eighth of his father and the fourth of his mother, quietly touched many hearts with both his accomplishments and his special spirit. Beyond family ties, prior to his premature death, he was regarded as a dedicated brother and son, highly devoted to assisting those in need and serving his community. The family was devastated to its very foundation by the tragedy which befell them in the early spring of last year. His mother, who had once been so deeply involved in the intricate relationships of the family's multi-marriage system, had to endure the unbearable weight of losing her son in a silent struggle against inner demons. No matter her steadfast perseverance and boundless dedication, she could not stop the fight that frequently was beyond sight, a fight that finally took his life through what was later officially found to be self-inflicted. As the anniversary of this tragic loss drew near, waves of painful memories washed over the family. His mother spoke candidly on the family's television story, explaining to audiences the intimacy of their daily dialogue. The reality that they conversed multiple times a day, an intimacy she treasured, only intensified the pain of his loss. She told of his struggle with depression and her continued efforts to help him when he felt the world was coming in. Although she knew just how hard his struggle was, the finality of his decision still shocked her. The report of his death, delivered to her by a family member who discovered him first, plunged her into a cyclone of grief and denial. Even though the family had rallied in their support and gotten him help, sometimes love isn't enough to mend the deep scars of pain. Her recollections expose the complicated reality of mental illness, a bitter, invisible war zone where, for all their efforts, triumph remains elusive. The latest season of the family saga's continuous narrative raised controversy over its depiction of the young man. One episode recently created an uproar among dedicated viewers who felt that the show's depiction was biased and did not do justice to his real legacy. While his picture was featured prominently, there were viewers who felt that the episode dwelled too much on family conflict and unfinished business at the expense of genuine tributes. Most social media responders felt let down as true recollections from his closest people were omitted, while arranged and distant relatives gained disproportionate coverage. His life was overshadowed by melodrama, and it was perceived as a reflection of an even bigger problem: battle between what is true, what deserves respect, and what makes for a good story in the limelight. Tragedy, according to some, has been utilized for the purposes of drama. The life and memory of the son, they say, have sometimes been lowered to a bare minimum plot tool amidst the familial bickering controlled by the patriarch and one of his later wives, who seemed to use the narrative more as an accessory than an actual tribute. In the midst of family turmoil, viewers have cried out for respect and dignity. When viewers realized that a beloved portrait of the deceased young man was hung in a strange and apparently disrespectful location, the family matriarch's messy garage, the cries grew even louder. Most believed that a memorial room or a place of honor in the house would be much more appropriate for such a tribute. On social media, this location of choice was regarded as representative of an underlying issue: the apparent forgetfulness and indifference of some of the family members towards the memory of the young man, further deepening the gap between those who cared about him genuinely and those criticized for disregarding his memory. One commenter, Riley, observed that a very big deer picture of an animal gazing over a wildfire appeared to be assigned more significance within the